Okay, for those of you who are coming on, welcome. And now I'm going to pass it over to Dana Smith from the Monday campaigns, and she will continue with and introduce our speakers, and we'll get on to the good part of this webinar.
Good morning, everyone, or good evening, depending on where you are. Thank you so much for joining us today. I am looking forward to an exciting discussion to see how Meatless Monday and other plant-based initiatives can be used in communities, cities, and towns around the globe to promote healthy, sustainable diets, and in some cases to encourage policy changes at the top. Meatless Monday and the promotion of plant-based foods is an essential tool for meeting health and sustainability goals. What people eat, how it's produced, and how much is wasted has major impacts on a city's health and sustainability. So I'm excited to introduce our panelists for today, who have all been instrumental in getting either a Meatless Monday or some sort of meat reduction campaign going in their community. First up is Francesco Chichetti. Apologies if I butchered your name, your beautiful Italian name. But Francesco is from Italy, more specifically from Campanore, a town in the province of Lucca in northern Tuscany. He is Campanore's municipality council member for education and culture. And along with him today, we have to thank Catalina from Slow Food International, because she is actually helping with the interpretations and the translations. Next up, we have Sue Doran. She is a registered dietitian, nutritionist, and computer scientist. Last year, she founded and launched Let's Meat Less in Columbia, South Carolina, which is a nonprofit organization with a mission to educate and empower eating habits that positively impact our health, environment, community, and farmed animals. Sue has done an overwhelmingly incredible job of integrating Meatless Monday in her community, and we look forward to hearing more from her in a bit. And then finally, we have Chef Zaldi Iskandar. He is the culinary arts and baking and pastry master instructor and academy director of Atimo International in Surabaya, Indonesia. He received his education at Johnson & Wales in the US and Domino Carlton Tivoli European Culinary Center in Switzerland. Chef Zaldi served as an apprentice in 2 hotels in Switzerland and also worked as a kitchen brigade catering chef to many heads of states and to the USSR Prime Minister Mikhail Gorbachev. Chef Zaldi is a certified Swiss food and wine instructor and a European master gourmet chef. So impressive. So welcome everyone. I think we will just jump right in. I have certain questions that I'll direct to certain people, and then I think certain questions that sort of everyone can participate in. And the first one, I'd love to hear from each of you. What was the impetus and the reason for starting a meat reduction campaign, such as Meatless Monday, in your community or your city and in your culinary school, Chef Zaldi? So actually, Sue, why don't we start with you on that one?
Sure. Well, as a registered dietitian, I knew that eating more plants and less animal meat was good for our health. And I've always cared about the least among us, whether it's the elderly or children or farmed animals. So, so eating less meat obviously helps farmed animals. But until a few years ago, I didn't know that raising animals to be eaten as food generates tremendous water, air, and land pollution. And when I learned that, I went to this statewide nonprofit environmental board that I serve on and said, gosh, you know, we should share this information with individuals and try to be on the prevention side of eating and let individuals know that they can lessen their impact on this water, air, and land that we're trying to protect by just eating less animal meat. And they're more big picture into electric car infrastructure and having folks buy electric cars. So it wasn't really what they were interested in doing. So I decided I'll do it myself. So I founded Let's Meat Less. And then, as you know, one of our projects has been bringing Meatless Monday to our community.
Excellent. Chef Zaldi, can you tell us about the importance and why you are training your students and your staff on practices such as Meatless Monday in terms of from a culinary perspective and why it's important to the school?
I knew this program about meat reduction campaign since 2019, and we already started this program about plant-based cooking, plant-based ingredients, and plant-based food at Otimo since 2019. And now it's increasing in 2020, 2021. And one of the reasons why we start doing this plant-based food program is because the trend that is going to this era in Indonesia is getting popular. I will tell you later about why this is difficult to implement in Indonesia, because there are lots of complications that we have to face, and this is one of the reasons why I try to train all of our trainee chef to be able to do plant-based cooking.
Excellent. And then Francesco, I'll be a little more specific with you because I know that you, along with Slow Beans, sort of implemented a Let It Bean campaign in your town, in your municipality. And we'd love to hear a little bit more about why that made sense for you. And, you know, I've heard a little bit from you that you leverage the beans that come from your specific, you know, local region to promote your town's origins and its history. And we love that notion of talking about plant-based food from sort of your ancestors and what your grandmother may have cooked. But why is it important today, and why is your municipality involved with meat reduction campaigns and the Let It Bean promotion?
Buonasera di nuovo a tutti e a tutti, e grazie di cuore per l'invito e di questa importante opportunità. Il comune che rappresento come assessore alla scuola della cultura è il comune di Capannori. È un comune di 50.000 abitanti in provincia di Lucca e nella regione toscana, ed era una volta conosciuto come il comune rurale più grande d'Italia. Per questo una grande tradizione, diciamo, dal punto di vista agricolo è arrivata ed è ancora molto significativa nel nostro territorio. Per questo motivo nel 2010 organizzammo una competizione semiseria, la chiamerei così, le Fagioliadi, le Olimpiadi del fagiolo, che richiamarono a Capannori diversi produttori appunto dei legumi, intendendo il legume appunto come un elemento qualificante del nostro territorio, della nostra enogastronomia, direi quasi del nostro modo di vivere. C'è il fagiolo rosso di Lucca, c'è il fagiolo cannellino di San Ginese, sono i due più famosi, ma sono oltre 20 le tipologie che nella piana di Lucca, quindi Capannori e comuni circostanti, sono state censite. Quest'anno, doveva essere lo scorso anno, a 10 anni appunto dalle Olimpiadi del fagiolo che si tengono nel 2010, organizzeremo di nuovo a Capannori nel mese di dicembre questo grande evento che aderisce alla campagna Let It Bean, promosso da Slow Beans e quindi da Slow Food, in cui torneranno a Capannori, laddove tutto, almeno per l'Italia, è cominciato, tantissimi produttori con momenti di approfondimento, solito ovviamente cene, convegni dedicate appunto ai legumi. È un evento come comune a cui abbiamo creduto molto e siamo molto felici appunto di vederlo tornare a casa nostra molto cresciuto rispetto a quando quasi in modo diciamo semiserio, goliardico era iniziato nel 2010.
Wonderful. We love that. Here at Meatless Monday, we think beans are sort of the perfect food, sustainable, healthy. So we love to see people enjoying beans from around the world and promoting them within their community, again, to reach sustainability and health goals. Certainly, if you're interested in running a sort of bean promotion, reach out and we can help you with that. Okay, so back to the panelists. So when you were first trying to get a Meatless Monday or a meat reduction campaign going, who were some of the key players that were instrumental in the campaign's start and its success? And if you can share some tactics that you use to engage and get buy-in from these partners. So in some cases, we've seen communities start students kind of get the momentum, and then they sort of, get it up the chain. They tell their teachers about it. Then principals are interested, and before you know it, like in New York City, they got the mayor involved to get Meatless Monday going in all the schools. So Sue, I'll start with you. What was some of your early initiatives, and who did you tap into to get some momentum within your community?
Oh, sure. Well, first of all, I have to say that Meatless Monday helped me. Your stepwise instructions on how to start Meatless Monday in a municipality were so helpful, especially the importance or the value. It's not critical, but the value of getting the mayor to sign a formal proclamation proclaiming every Monday Meatless Monday. So I called a former city council person who's a good friend of mine and said, how do I get this proclamation thing done? And she said, first of all, you have to write it yourself. No one's going to write it for you. So I did that. I contacted the mayor's office and the mayor himself and said, here's what I'd like to do. It's an easy ask. It's called Meatless Monday. It will help with the city's sustainability goals. It's good for our health. It's something our city can unite around. We can promote local restaurants and suggest folks eat plant-based meals at our local restaurants, and so it's good for business. So the mayor and that former city council person and a current city council person, I called all the city council people and said, I'd like to do this. Will you help me out? Will you do some videos with me? Will you show up at our launch on April 12th? And they were all very receptive, because Meatless Monday is such an easy ask. It's nothing extreme. And there's also a local TV broadcaster who's plant-based. And I reached out to her, and she's been very supportive and featured Meatless Monday and Let's Meat Less and myself on her program, and showed up to the various launches that we've done. And the city council person, I also asked her, do you know anyone at this local historically Black college? Because our big local university had reached out to me and said, will you come have a presence for Earth Week, for Meatless Monday, for Earth Week? We're already doing something for that. And so I did that, and I thought, well, I want to include everybody in the community. So the city council person put me in touch with the president of the HBCU, and we subsequently launched Meatless Monday at Benedict College. So it was kind of a team effort, but with every one of these folks, I picked up the phone and called them. I did not email, I did not text, I reached out personally. Same with the local restaurant owners. We have over 50 restaurants on our website who have agreed to participate in Meatless Monday Columbia. And I either showed up in person or I called them personally and said, hey, it's your buddy Sue. Here's what we're working on. It'll bring in business. It's something to unite our community around. And everyone has been very, very receptive. So that's kind of who the key players were who have helped me get this ball rolling.
And you're an incredible example of sort of not giving up and trying every single avenue. And, you know, we definitely here at Meatless Monday tap into Sue to say, how did you do it? Like, help us build resources so we could help other people do it. And it's such a great example of sort of not giving up and trying avenues, restaurants, hospitals, colleges, et cetera. So just such great work. And then Chef Zaldi, if you can talk a little bit about, I know you said in your earlier discussion that you had some challenges that you wanted to speak to us about. So I think maybe challenges in Indonesia in general, and then as well as maybe specific to the culinary school, but we'd love to hear about, you know, some of the sort of either partners or initiatives that were key in getting this going for you. And of course, you know, we'd love to hear some of the challenges as well.
Okay. I can say that at the present time in Indonesia, we can't do much to influence the local government on regulations or policy in regards to meat reduction program. But there are lots of things that we as a chef instructor and also our trainee chefs at Otimo can do to foster this plant-forward environment on campus. I would say the key players are the students. All of us chef instructors. I have in total seven chef instructors, and all of them have their specialty. And now we're going to add plant-based cooking as one of their specialties. What we can do actually internally, first we implement plant-based cooking, plant-based ingredients, and also plant-based meat creations into our curriculum. Second, we include plant-based cooking into our weekly exam as one of the requirements. And third, we give the trainee chefs culinary challenges in plant-based meat creations with wholesome rewards, and they love this. Externally, we suggest plant-based menu to those restaurant owners who came to us for menu creating assistance. So in short, we have the power to suggest, influence, or even set plant-based cooking ideas to all of our trainee chefs, who in the future will become restaurant chef or owners, right? When we talk about plant-based food, this is the challenge that we have. This is where it becomes tricky and very challenging. If the plant-based food or plant-based cooking only include vegetables, fruits, or beans and legumes, then we'll have some problem attracting other people or even customers to join our plant-based movement. This is why we're constantly trying to come up with recipe ideas for plant-based meat. Our trial and error includes replacing MSG with more natural ingredients such as dry tomato extract, dry mushroom, and many more. And at the moment, we are using plant-based meat from Alpha Food, Omni Food, and Impossible brand for our menus such as burger, hot dog, Mexican chili, and few of the Indonesian heritage cuisines like satay. I believe you all know the Impossible brand. But since they are imported goods, it might not fit everyone's budget. This is why we are trying to come up with our own plant-based meat version here in Indonesia.
That's incredible. You know, I hope you have success with that and can sort of start your own path with developing a plant-based meat. And you know, we also believe in the notion of working with culinary schools and students. We have a few other country partners that focus on that implementation as well, because as you say, these are people that then go to open restaurants or could be food service chefs in large institutions like universities, et cetera. So we love that that strategy, and we appreciate like everything you're doing to kind of teach these young minds all about plant-based foods and the benefits of it. And so I'll pass it off to Francesco also. Again, if there's any sort of learnings or people within your municipality that were key players and instrumental for getting you even just the ability to talk about beans, or having your Beans Olympics or the Let It Bean campaign, you know, what were maybe some of the challenges and who were some of the people that were super helpful and instrumental in terms of getting it off the ground in your municipality?
Allora,
Yeah, got it. Thank you.
L'iniziativa ci è stata proposta già 10 anni fa e ancora oggi dalla condotta Lucca Confiteste degli Orti Lucchesi di Slow Food. A questo soggetto organizzatore se ne è aggiunto un altro che è la Piana del Cibo. La Piana del Cibo è un soggetto partecipativo che mette insieme produttori, consumatori, ristoratori, persone che gravitano a vario titolo attorno al tema del cibo che si sono organizzati, che puntano a mettere insieme gli stakeholder che non solo nel territorio di Capannori, ma in un territorio più vasto che si chiama Piana di Lucca e mette insieme 6 municipalità, Capannori, quindi Lucca e altre 4, questo insieme di persone che appunto fanno un lavoro riguardo la governance del tema del cibo, intervengono sugli orti sociali, intervengono sul sistema nelle mense scolastiche nei vari comuni, sugli stili di vita. Ci hanno proposto di rifare a Capannori questa iniziativa e assieme a Slow Food sono coloro appunto che avranno la paternità di questa iniziativa. Noi ovviamente li sosterremo, però da un punto di vista formale sono loro che sono venuti in comune insieme a Slow Food e hanno fatto questa proposta, non solo nel comune di Capannori, ma anche, come dicevo, nei comuni limitrofi, perché abbiamo questo sistema ormai da 2 anni abbastanza innovativo di gestione condivisa e associata e partecipativa del sistema del cibo, e queste persone, questa istituzione, appunto la Piana del Cibo, è quella che ci ha proposto e che spinge molto perché si portino avanti queste tematiche.
That's incredible. I mean, it's such an example of how it takes a village. I mean, you guys are, it seems like you're working closely with your neighbors and other people in the same position as you, all with a common goal. And I love how you said they're chefs and farmers, and you know, it all kind of trickles down, I'm assuming, to the consumer who gets to eat the delicious beans in restaurants or purchase them in the stores. And it's truly incredible, the work that you're doing. Okay, so just a little bit of a different shift. So I'm curious, how can Meatless Monday be relevant to populations that struggle with food insecurity, populations that can't get enough food, specifically foods high in protein and you know, micronutrients. This is definitely a popular topic of discussion, and Sue, I think you probably have some advice in that area, if you can share with us.
Well, I hate to be repetitive, but beans. They're cheap. They have a long shelf life. They're high in protein, high in fiber, low in fat. They're multi-ethnic. They take on whatever flavor we give them. So I always like to tell people, we don't take a raw chicken breast out of the fridge and throw it on a plate and eat it. We season it. We apply heat and oil to it. And so beans really are, you know, so easy to use and so nutritionally valuable. Also, canned fruits and vegetables and frozen fruits and vegetables are not to be discounted. They're valuable and more readily available than fresh fruits and vegetables, and even than fresh herbs and spices for folks. So, you know, I eat beans every single day, and beans and rice and something green every day. So, you know, they're cost effective, and like I said, you can make them taste like whatever you were raised eating. Use the same seasonings, and they're a perfect meal.
If anyone else wants to dive in here, please feel free. Again, I'm trying to get at making meat reduction campaigns relevant to populations that struggle with food insecurity and not getting enough food. And Sue's answer, is definitely spotlighting foods that are nutrient and inexpensive. But if anyone else has something they want to add or experience with that, please jump in.
I would like to say something. In Indonesia, those populations in places that are harder to access are the ones that practice plant-based food more than those living in the metropolitan areas. With such an abundant resources such as roots and tuberous vegetables, and Indonesia's rich culture of soya bean end products, those people would likely to eat more plant-based foods such as tofu and tempeh. So in short, it's easier for me to run this plant-based food program in the suburbs than in the metropolitan areas.
That makes sense. Francesco, anything to add? If not, we can definitely move on to the next question.
Sì, mi fa piacere aggiungere, credo, un'altra cosa che mi ero segnato che poteva essere carino raccontare questa sera, e che riguardo alla promozione di alcuni prodotti agricoli tipici della nostra zona, il fagiolo, ma penso anche a un altro presidio slow food che abbiamo riconosciuto da un paio d'anni, che è il pomodoro canestrino, una particolare tipologia di pomodoro che esiste praticamente solo, credo, dalle nostre parti. Facciamo un lavoro importante con le mense scolastiche, perché poi queste tematiche, oltre che un elemento culturale, è importante farle conoscere, farle vivere ai bambini fin da piccoli, per cui abbiamo un progetto specifico che prevede delle giornate a tema nelle nostre mense scolastiche. Abbiamo circa 4.000 bimbi che mangiano nelle nostre scuole, scuola dell'infanzia e scuola primaria ogni giorno, e prepariamo delle giornate a tema con dei piccoli giochi anche, in cui facciamo assaggiare i prodotti agricoli del territorio come il fagiolo, il pomodoro e non solo, a chilometro zero. Quindi questo è un elemento anche educativo che ci consente anche, no, di sperare di lasciare dei semi anche nelle future generazioni su questi temi senz'altro significativi.
Yeah, I agree. I think similar to the culinary students strategy, same with kids. We spoke a little bit about this before, but of course, getting kids interested in, what they eat, what's on their fork, how that can have an impact on our planet, and of course on their health. They're usually the ones that are sort of more interested in the environmental side of things. And we often hear that the students are taking that information home and, in some cases, even like educating their parents on that because, they might not be aware of all the impacts of going plant-based. So certainly starting young is a great strategy. And, we do a lot of work with students in schools as well. So great. And then the next question we have is based on data. We like to use data in a lot of the work we're doing to make decisions and to think through communities that might be targets for us to work in, et cetera. So I want to know a little bit more about how you use data to shift populations that are least likely to participate in a meat reduction campaign, that are sort of anti giving up meat. We all know that's one of the biggest challenges. And how can data be used to reach populations that are harder to access, or maybe ones that have more pressing needs? I'll again pass it off to you, Sue.
Sure. I was just involved with this South Carolina Climate Justice and Health conference a few days ago, and we talked about this kind of thing because there are so many poor people in our state that are struggling to be able to afford to properly heat and cool their homes. So we talked about, rather than jumping to the message of if you eat more plants and fewer animal products, you'll decrease your risk for type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, stroke, cancer, etc., talking about what happens along the way. For example, that you'll immediately start to feel better. Your medical expenses, meaning your prescription drug costs, will go down because your blood sugar will be under better control. Your blood pressure will be under better control, and you'll have less costly and time-consuming trips to doctors and back. So letting folks know that this will save you money in the long run, or even in the short term, to better heat and cool your home and meet needs that are more pressing than this long-term picture of better health. And also, I think it's important to deliver our message of eating less meat and participating in Meatless Monday in a desirable format. For example, when we launched Meatless Monday at Benedict College, we had the kids involved with the launch party. We had Zoom meetings every week, and I asked them, what would you like as a giveaway? How do you want this celebration to go down? What would you like to eat? And they immediately said, we would love t-shirts in our school colors with our school logo on the front, because most of us can't afford the t-shirts in the bookstore. So we designed t-shirts that were in their colors with the school logo, but on the back we put the Meatless Monday logo and the Let's Meat Less logo. And we gave away 500 t-shirts within 10 minutes. They love the t-shirts. I've seen them show up in some of the band's music videos and music majors videos. They're wearing the t-shirts. So the message has been delivered and received to them and by them, and they're carrying the message around the community by wearing these t-shirts. So I think that's helpful too.
That's awesome. Chef Zaldi, anything to answer there? And then I'm just keeping my eye on time. We have a couple more minutes, and I do have one more important last question that I want to ask each of you. But, Chef Zaldi, if you have anything in regards to the last question, please contribute.
I'm going to go very short. One of Otimo's partner is Bumi Varta Indonesia Limited. And these people produce geospatial data and cooperate with the Indonesian government to map all Indonesians to produce data. And one of the advantages is to find islands that only eat pork, as an example, and then introduce plant-based pork, which is what we are currently doing, so legalized by the government, so Muslim people can enjoy without any religious issues.
That's an interesting study, trying to get pork eaters to eat the plant-based pork. Let us know what you find from that. But I mean, that's sort of why this notion of developing your own plant-based meats is important, to get non-believers to make a simple change, a simple switch. So I also want to ask, and we're sort of, closing it out, how do you keep the momentum going, whether it's keeping your Meatless Monday going, or Francesco, keeping people in your municipality interested in beans and interested in learning of its history and origins and, biodiversity? And Chef Zaldi, at what point do you feel comfortable that your program's sustainable, in terms of you've taught them the best you could in their years of culinary school and you kind of let them go fly? And how do you trust that they're going to keep up the plant-based momentum? So I want to hear from each of you, how do you ensure long-term success with programs like this? And if you're not in people's faces all the time, how do you make them impassioned leaders to kind of carry on the work? So I'll start with you, Sue.
I talk to like-minded people like you to keep the momentum going. So yesterday I was ready to quit, but now today I'll be fueled to keep going again. I tell everybody I know what I'm working on, everyone who will listen, and everyone is so supportive and so nice and wants to hear more about it. So just connecting with people keeps me going. And as far as long-term success, I'd like to see, when I turn on the local news in Columbia, South Carolina every Monday, I'd like to see the weather reporter and the broadcast journalists all saying, "Happy Meatless Monday, it's Meatless Monday," and featuring it every Monday without me being a guest on the show. That to me would be long-term success. And I'd like to see more plant-based options on local menus and in hotels and airlines and in my friends' homes. So I'm kind of plugging away at that. I'm not sure how to do that with, other than just keep reaching out to people and repeating the message over and over again. But that would define long-term success to me, to just have it the norm that happy Meatless Monday, everyone, every Monday.
I'm on board with that. I would love to see those things happen too. What you said are similar to some of our internal goals in terms of media treating Mondays, every Monday as Meatless Monday, and it just becoming so commonplace that it's on restaurant menus and it doesn't even need to be highlighted. It's just that there's integrated plant-based food everywhere. And so really good strategies. Thank you. Chef Zaldi, I'll pass it to you.
Okay, for me, actually, long-term success is how we give an example. So I just want to talk about some of the drives that has been initiated by Otimo as a role model towards our concern for the people, not only for the plant-based program, but also to the climate and environment. Number one, we are currently doing rainwater harvesting. So during rainy seasons, we produce our own clean water supply. And this is happening right now because we are in the rainy seasons right now in Surabaya. We also installing solar panels for green energy. So our cooking lessons will be covered by this green energy. We like to engage with the community that has the same visions. For example, we engage with the community who would like to reduce the use of plastic waste. Also, we regularly support the city health administrations by providing foods that is suitable for certain disease. One of our latest projects was to supply food for the people with diabetes. And starting 2019, we have reduced the amount of paper used for the academic and administrative purpose by going fully digital campus. We also plant our own microgreens, few herbs and spices, and bulk vegetables for culinary class sessions. And we also constantly participate in CSR by doing soup kitchen for the less fortunate society. And our last soup kitchen, we use some of the plant-based cooking.
Yeah,
I think that's the, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are doing incredible stuff. It seems like the food component is one of a complete sustainable sort of thinking at the culinary school, and you guys do an incredible job. I know you do donate your time to the soup kitchens and really just all around fantastic work. So such a good example of a organization and institution that's, really on the right track. So thank you, Chef. And then I will pass it off to Francesco.
Io credo fuori ora ovviamente anche diciamo nel tempo ordinario, fuori quindi da momenti come quello che stiamo per vivere noi nel nostro territorio con una grande manifestazione come Slovinz, cosa possiamo fare? Secondo me possiamo dare supporto, un aiuto nel marketing, nella promozione, nella valorizzazione di buonissime cene, la dico con una battuta, nel senso che penso sia davvero importante per promuovere questi valori il fatto di organizzare anche dei momenti in cui si faccia conoscere quanto possa essere buono, gradevole e bello fare appunto delle scene e dei momenti conviviali attorno a, nel nostro caso, ai legumi. Questo penso sia davvero possibile con Slow Beans, ma anche con tante altre attività che facciamo nel resto dell'anno.
I mean, we love that. Of course, Italians, no one does it better than you guys in terms of having food and making this all about togetherness and eating good food, and as a way to share with friends, and of course, share the important information that's attached to going plant-based. So thank you. I believe that's all we have time for. I'm going to hand it over to Becky now to wrap us up.
Thank you so much. And thank you to our wonderful panelists. We could have spent another 2 or 3 hours or more talking and hearing all that you do. But we do believe that, you know, there's a power in the different ways we approach meat reduction, and altogether we can, you know, into sustainable diets. And there's so many ways I've learned over the last 2 days that we can interact with different sectors and people in our community. So thank you. I want to encourage you to continue this conversation. We have a web platform called Global Meatless Monday. You don't have to be a Meatless Monday implementer, but if you're interested in this field, please join our global platform. It's a 2-step process. And we also have all the recordings up there as well. You can ask more questions. So that link is up in the chat, meatlessmonday.hivebright.com. And we're looking forward to continuing this conversation. So thanks again for joining us, and thank you again to our panelists and our moderator, Dana. Thanks. Have a great day.